Literally, babies are crying, their mothers are crying, and of course, as the nurses, they want us to cry. So I thought to myself, what on earth have I bumped into my life? Hi honeys, how are you? Tanyanishailoc here, and of course welcome back to the YouTube channel. What's popping, what's well, and of course all that particular kind of good stuff over there. If this is your first time here, yes, I'm talking about you over there. And of course you're watching my face for the first time. Yes, I'm tanyanishailoc, a first year nursing student, of course very soon bumping into my second year, of course, of nursing school. But of course I also do videos about makeup, glam, fashion, beauty, my medical career kind of vlogs, and of course a lot of interesting kind of videos. But of course, as you have seen from the thumbnail and of course the title of the video, today we are going to be talking about, of course, my first week on pediatrics ward and my experience, my full experience. So if you're interested in stuff of that particular kind of caliber, it's jackpot. Just smash the subscribe button, like the video, comment something in the comment section below. Remember to share out the video, of course, to every other nursing student you know, of course, starting out nursing school this year, next year, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, whatever the case may be. So let us just dive into the video right now. I almost forgot my stethoscope, so it's also here to say hi to you guys. So basically, without wasting a lot of time, I'm going to be talking about, of course, my first week on the pediatrics ward. So you guys, at my school there is this particular kind of arrangement where in my class we are over, I think, 98 students. We are divided out into different groups of 10 or 8, and we are divided into the whole hospital into different wards, such as the pediatrics, the outpatient wing, the delivery wing, the general theater, the general wards, and of course a lot. Now my first experience, of course, on ward, it was on the pediatrics ward, but of course at the outpatient wing. And I want to just give a full detailed kind of story time for you guys, explaining my experience and of course all that. I remember that as soon as we arrived onto the ward, the first thing I recognized it was babies crying. Then I knew that okay, I had made my research a little bit. I knew that I knew what I was going to bump into. If they were already young kids, because it's the pediatrics, of course, who doesn't know pediatrics? So I had done my research. I knew that I was going to be at the pediatric kind of clinic, because almost, I think, most of the general, but not only the general, but I think most of the referral hospitals, especially right now where I'm working, it is Naguru Referral Hospital, but for the pediatrics, I think in particular, and also for the emergency, first aid and emergency, they do have clinics. But I don't think that first aid has emergency. But for what I'm sure of, it's that pediatrics, we do have a clinic. We do outpatient services. We do also first aid for the young ones, especially those ones who are convulsing, and of course all that, and a lot of stuff. But the first thing, as I've told you, I reached on ward. What I recognized was babies crying, and the place was a little bit busy. Not a little bit, okay, in the morning it was a little bit busy, but of course as it progressed throughout the whole day, my dear, a lot of work piled up. You know, parents were coming in with their kids, and just keep in mind that we do work on patients, especially young kids from around neonates to around 9 years or 10 years, something like that. And the place just got increasingly busy, especially on my first day, increasingly busy. But just keep in mind that as it progresses, its busyness, just keep in mind that you also, as the health workers, get more busy. I remember that my first job, or my first kind of my first orientation kind of job to do on the ward, that first day, it was taking records, whatever the case may be. I remember that it was taking records, and it pretty moved so well, because I was at the last desk. I was supposed to take on the records from the doctor's room, then I take them to the pharmacy, to the pediatrics pharmacy. From the pediatrics pharmacy, I would dispatch out the medicine or the tablets or the medication to the different parents of those different kids. So it was not that hectic. I don't remember it being very hectic, but okay, I just got a little bit tired, of course, of recording, taking the books to the pharmacy, taking drugs, but it was a little bit cool. And I remember that a lot of parents were very welcoming to me. They really literally greeted me, they literally respected me as a health worker. They usually come in, I give them a seat, I tell them, Mama, sit down, you know, local language, because most of them we are not allowed to use very big terms. We are allowed to use very simple terms. So I tell them, mama, sit down there, get where to sit, give me your book. I record the book, then I take it to the pediatric pharmacy. Then from the pediatric pharmacy, they used to call me out to take the drugs outside to them, or literally they would give the drugs themselves out to the patients. So it comes to the second day. What I remember about the second day, it was I think the day when I got oriented into the nutrition department, but of course for the pediatrics, the young kids. And I remember this sister, I think she's a nutritionist, and of course she holds a bachelor's in nutrition, foods, and of course how all foods are able to help out a particular baby and of course child to live, and of course not to get different diseases. He also taught me about BMI, IFA. You guys, if you don't know that, let me know in the comment section below. But he taught me all about that, things about nutrition, to measure the indexes of the body, the height, to find out if the patient is fit for his age, fit for his height, how to improve on the quality of foods, and of course all the nutrition that he or she needs. And I remember that day I partly worked onto the computer, calculating the different kind of heights and weights, and of course the MOAC, it means measuring the height, I think from here up to here, then getting the total width. Is it a width? Yeah, the width of this particular kind of area, in order of course to detect if a patient is within his normal height or normal weight or whatever the case may be. So I remember that was the most interesting day I've ever had, because I think we had a lot of patients, and I reached that moment when it was lunch and I had not got lunch, and things were getting I was moving out of my senses, stress and of course all that, but I know how to handle stress, just keep in mind. So I kept on handling stress. Then I think I stopped working at around 2 that day. Then I went back to the records room where I continued recording the patients and of course doing the previous day's work. Usually the third day it finally came. And of course on the third day I partly worked into the nutrition department, calculating the different indexes for body height and weight and the MOAC. Then I also partly worked into measuring the height, the weight, the MOAC of the kids, and I think that was the day when I got this particular kind of patient who came to me. I think she had a baby who was very sick. I think an infant or a child who was very, very sick, and I worked onto her. I wrote everything down for her, the prescription of the nutrition of the kid, the MOAC, the body mass index, the height, whatever the case may be. Then I prescribed him to see the doctor, and when he went into the doctor's room, I remember she came out very anxious and she had not the baby. Then she was like, you know what, Nance, the doctor needs to talk to you. Then when I went into the doctor's room, I just left everything I was using by then onto my table, and just keep in mind that I'm having a lot of patients are waiting for me. You guys, a lot of them. I just went into the room. Then the doctor was like, you know what, I need you to take this patient to the laboratory because we don't have MRDT, they are rapid malaria testing kits, something like that. We need to know that the status of the blood of the baby, and also we need to do the blood count. The blood count, I think you do understand this, the amount of cells that particular kind of infant has, of course. So I was like, let me get another nurse immediately. Then I went out with another nurse. She came in, she took her of course to the lab to do the MRI, to do the blood test, and of course also the malaria testing. Then I came back to my table. Everything went on smoothly, I think, and I stopped working that at around 3. Then I went back into the records room, and I think I worked on to delivering prescribed medicine to different patients, telling them how to use the medicine, and of course all that. Comes to the 4th day. This is the day that I was hello busy, you guys. So on the 4th day, MRDT kits had come. No, they had not come, but okay, initially we had seen the truck of the National Medical Stores, of course, delivering its particular kind of supplements or equipments of the hospital, the Nagwe hospital. So we thought that the MRDT kits have come, so we are supposed to be doing all the tests we are supposed to be doing onto the patients, especially MRDT from the doctor's room, before we send them to the lab to do blood count and of course all that. So I remember that day I reached at work very early in the morning. The senior medical personnel or the senior sister comes in, directs me how to use the MRDT kits. He directs me how to record and of course read the different results, and I start working onto the patient. I remember that the first ever you guys, first ever kind of experience I have with applying a baby's hand, it was not the best one, because I thought that I was terrifying. I was making the patient, the baby cry very much, while I was putting the baby into a lot of pain. Then I was like, you know what, I have to learn. She had taught me to plick, okay, she taught me to plick this and this, and she said that this and this have a lot of nerves, so it means that a lot of pain is there. So she had told me to plick this one and this one. But the first two kids, I remember that I picked, I think, this and this. Then the baby, I saw that she was crying a lot. Then I recognized that this has a lot of nerves also. Then I went into the two ones. Then I continued, of course, pricking, getting blood samples, and putting into the MRDT kind of kit or case, putting in the different reagents we have to be putting in, and getting the different results. So I worked on to a bunch of students, a bunch of patients with their kids, a bunch of parents with their patient kids, if that makes sense. And my colleagues came in to take over the procedure. They also did what they had to do, and by now I switched to the emergency room. And to the emergency room that same day, I think they brought us a baby who was convulsing, and he needed rectodiclofenac to reduce on the temperatures because he was convulsing. Temperatures were so high, and of course the parent was around. So we did the procedure. We inserted into the rectum the rectodiclofenac. Then I remember that after that that day, that was the day I think we started cannulating with my fellows. Of course, we started cannulating, but I didn't cannulate, but I was obviously and of course observantly looking at how the procedure is done by my fellow students and of course the sister in charge. But what I remember doing, it was like I literally did change the different drips. Are they called drips? Yeah, I think drips, because the drip stand holds the drip, but I consistently changed the different drip stands. After cannulation, after sister cannulating, he would give me the patient so that I can put on the drip, flash the cannula. After flashing the cannula, then put in the drugs, and for a particular kind of moment in time, I would record what I've been able to do, and of course all that particular kind of stuff. The emergency room is a little bit crazy because a lot of kids are there, but crying, like you guys, crying. But if you are not patient, of course you cannot even live around them. I swear, you guys, crying, wow, this one is crying, the other one is crying. But I know how to keep my patience, and of course I know how to keep everything going, and that's how of course I kept up of course with everything, you know. Not very easy, but I kept up with everything. So summarize up everything. My first week on working on the pediatrics ward, it was not a bad day. It was a very nice day. It was not a day but a week. It was a week of experience. It was a week of learning. It was a week of learning to handle my emotions, learning to different procedures, learning. And it was not so bad, though the crying babies at first they gave me anxiety, but later on I was able to adapt, and of course all that kind of stuff. So it brings me to the conclusion of the video. Make it a point that if you did enjoy the story time of my first week on the pediatrics ward, you do smash the subscribe button, you like the video, comment something in the comment section below, recommend my video of course to every other student who you know and of course you think is trying to do nursing. Don't trying, there is no trying in the modern world, but who is doing nursing and who is going to do nursing as a course next year, tomorrow, whatever the case may be, and of course all that. Let me grab you in my next video. Remember that smartness, elegancy, and of course exploring the magic of your subconscious mind in 2020. Tanyanishailoc switching out. Bye for now.